We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thinh, vì thứ pháp bồi cập nhật tiết chúng sanh, tịnh duyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đàn Tổ Sư Chế Đô Ye Ơ La Hơ Đi Sam Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Ha Đê Tam Miệu Tam Mô Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian,万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master Xinhua, all good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors, 阿弥陀佛。诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Thượng Tiến Hóa, quý sư cô và quý vị chính thức thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. Today is the 28th of July 2024. Thank you for joining our discussion of the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra here at DTT. I'm glad you're here with us. We're right now on slide 662. It's talking about, let me see, the second desire heaven, right? Yeah, second desire heaven. You can tell somewhat, thank you, because of the Dharma they practice, how they became a world ruler. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Celestial King, lofty, splendid sound, gain a passage into liberation of knowing the changing characteristics of the eons of formation and decay in all worlds.
高圣音天王，得知一切世间成坏劫转变相解脱门。
Okay, 663. Remember, we are talking about, we have an introduction of these world rulers. World rulers are these very big shots in each single galaxy. Each single galaxy has a lot of small worlds. Okay? So, for example, in our galaxy, Milky Way is one galaxy right here. So that's called a Saha world, and within that there's lots of small clusters of what it's called a world and a small world, and that kind of hierarchy which you will learn later later in the sutra. But so these guys here, these are Mahasattvas who became Mahasattvas because they aspire. This is their aspiration. This is very important to keep in mind. They got here because they wanted to be here. So in order to be here, this first set of goals, they want to be a world ruler in the second desire heaven, and then they led to practice a certain Dharma door in order for them to be qualified to rule over them. Okay, so it's very important for you to be cognizant of your long-term goals. What's the big picture for you? Don't get lost in the details. Okay? And so this celestial king loved the splendid sound. He got here. He practiced a certain Dharma door that enabled him to be qualified to rule over this world. That's what it means. Okay? So what did he do? What he did is he contemplated, because these beings live for a long, long time, so he's able to see how the worlds evolved. Okay, so each world evolved, as explained before, each world has evolved through 4 phases of formation, dwelling, decay, and emptiness. Okay, for mankind, for the humankind, it's a smaller scale, still have to go through 4 phases of existence: birth, growth, aging or sickness, and then death. Okay, in that order. And so this particular world ruler here, he's able to see how the world evolved. Okay, from formation or birth till it dies. Emptiness meaning that it just disappeared, exploded, or whatever. Okay, it disappeared completely. Okay, so the Saha world itself will someday become empty as well. Okay, since you're not worried about what's going to happen to you, I'm not going to go into it. Okay, so you see, so this celestial king lofty splendid sound here, he's able to, because his long lifespan, he's able to observe that. Okay, he observed the evolution. Okay, he lives to be like 9 billion years, compared to us living around here in the U.S. For men, it's 79 years average. Okay, and so he's able to see the evolution of the world, how it changes. Okay, and because of that, he developed the wisdom to be able to handle the responsibility to be a world ruler of the second desire heaven. Okay? And so, if you've been following the first chapter here, you see from the higher desire heavens to low desire heavens, you see the complexities of the jobs requirements are more, they get lighter and lighter. Okay. Next, 664, celestial king fulfilling intentions, gain a passage into liberation of pondering future bodhisattvas practice of taming sentient beings.
成就念天王，得意念当来菩萨，调伏众生行解脱门。
Okay. So he's this fulfilling intentions, 成就念天王. This he's known as fulfilling intentions, okay, accomplishing intentions. So meaning that he's known to his peers as someone who's able to understand the aspirations of living beings and having the skill to fulfill them. And he's so experienced, he's so accomplished at doing that, he got this name of fulfilling intentions. You see? So this is a reminder for all of us again, that when you practice this spiritual path, okay, you are being watched over about your ambitions. So be careful as to how low you set your sights on. If you can, all you can think of is this much you can see, and that's you set your goals for that. That's what you're going to be helped to get there. Okay, so part of wisdom is to be able for you to see the bigger and bigger, the bigger picture, and you so that you don't get lost in the forest. Okay, so this guy here, he's able to see the various intentions of living beings, and he's able to have the skills to help them attain what they want. Okay, and so that's what that's what he's doing now. But how did he get there to his position? He get there. He became qualified for this position. Okay, the name says now that he's in this job, he's known to his peers and his superiors as someone who has the skills to fulfill intentions of his subjects. Okay, but how he got there, how he became qualified, is by pondering the future bodhisattva's practice of taming sentient beings. Okay, and so he contemplates the Yidian, Tăng Lại Pusa. He's intrigued by how the various bodhisattvas got to tame and tame the various living beings. So in order for bodhisattva to tame living beings, what do they need to do? Well, they need to use a lot of expedience. Okay? Expedience to help living beings make progress in their spiritual practice. Okay? And so it's a lot more difficult when you think. For example, in our world, we have people, because of the nature of the spiritual paths here, the availability of various spiritual paths. You have people who believe in Taoism, believe in Hinayana, people believe in Hinduism and so forth, okay? And that's what the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have to deal with. And so in order to cope with these challenges, they're able to learn to tame and subdue living beings. And in particular, as Master Shenhua says here, he says he calls living beings to turn from the small to the great, which is very, very hard to do, by the way. Okay? I have so many Hinayana monk friends and nuns. Okay? And when you talk to them, their faith is so profound in Buddhism. They really believe in their teachers, in their lineage. Okay, whether it's Vietnamese, whether it's Thai, whether it's whatever, Sri Lanka and so forth, and their faith is so strong that they have tunnel vision. They cannot go beyond the small. It's so difficult. They don't listen. It's amazing to me. It's still within Buddhism, but there's no way to connect with them. Okay? It's so challenging. And so for these beings, these Mahasattvas, to be able to turn the practitioner from small to great, it's very, very difficult. Okay? Or more specifically, if you encounter evil people, okay, Like, I don't know, you met any drug dealers? Okay, try to change them. Anyone has any experience? Okay, they are so well supported by the demons that you cannot touch them. They think they're God. Because one of my relatives used to be a drug addict, and he hangs out with all these people. He brought back the house, and I had to deal with all these demons myself. It's very interesting. Okay, so just Master Shehua puts it very, very, very mildly, but actually something that is typical, so difficult, even for us within Buddhism, to turn Hinayana believers into Mahayana believers is virtually impossible. Okay, let alone to turn evil into good, that's impossible. It's so difficult. This is when you get help. Okay, don't be so proud of yourself. What Dharma do we have in Mahayana that can do that? Just because I just told you it's so difficult to do, doesn't mean it's impossible. If I know it's difficult, therefore, my bosses also know it's difficult. Yeah? Of course. So therefore, it's not meant to discourage you. It's meant to challenge you. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I haven't tried it per se with drug dealers. But generally, wouldn't the Shurangama mantra be something to use that turns evil into sweet dew?
Yeah, that's one Dhamma door, absolutely. The only problem, though, is that when you use Shurangama mantra on those people, you harm them. That's a problem. The Shurangama mantra is so powerful that it can really hurt them. So you probably want to use it to hurt them, but it's very difficult to use it to turn them around, to turn them, or subdue them. Yes, you can subdue them, but and tame them, but it's very difficult for them to turn around. Okay, I remember the story of Shakyamuni Buddha, and he became a Buddha, and just before he became a Buddha, the demon king came around and try to confuse the Buddha. And so the Buddha used his power and actually confused the demon king and turned him into a disciple, to a Buddhist. Okay? And the Buddha spoke Dharma to the demon king. This is the story I read from Master Shenua's explanations. And then the Buddha king was so happy after he listened to the Buddha's preaching. He certified to first stage arhatship. Just like that. Wouldn't that be nice? Huh? It takes a few minutes. That's the power of the sudden Dharma, you know. I remember when the sixth patriarch taught me, okay, I was stuck at second 2A. I was stuck at 1A, and he taught me. I was wondering about his teaching at 2A, so he came and taught me. That's what I meant. It took him about less than 2 minutes for me to understand. Okay? Yes. But Buddhas, so not a single word exchanged. It's just teaching by action. It's very, very interesting. Okay? So within 2 minutes, I said, oh, that's the meaning of this, the 2A Dharma that he taught. Okay, and so the demon king, he was there and intent, very determined to confuse the Buddha. And in very short order, the Buddha, and Demon King level is not that high. And in very short order, the Buddha spoke the Dharma to him, and boom, he certified the first stage arhatship. And after he certified first stage arhatship, Demon King was so happy. The first time in his life, he says, wow, I've never been this happy before. Remember, he's the one who has all the food, all the women, all whatever power you have. He's a very powerful Demon King, okay? And he said, all the pleasure I've had is nothing compared to what I just experienced. And many of you have 1A already, say, what is he talking about? Hey, this is Master Shenhua's story, not mine, okay? And so the Demon King was so happy. And he says, boy, now I understand the meaning of my life. So he turned around, looked at the Buddha and said, what am I supposed to do now? I'm confused. I don't want to be a Demon King anymore. Okay? So the Buddha gently told him, go back, son. Go back. Go back and be a Demon King. And you can practice in secret and you can convert them. You can gently introduce them and don't tell the other Demon Kings, okay? Because we have spies in their ranks. We turn the Demon King, the Buddha turned the Demon Kings into Buddhists. Okay, and so the Buddha ordered him and said, you go back, you live as a Demon King, but you quietly and discreetly convert your followers and teach them the proper path. And that's what the Demon King did. Okay, yes, Wei Mountain.
Dạ, Nam Mô Di Phật, kính thưa Thầy. Thầy nói Pháp đó chỉ là Pháp kiên nhẫn với cái lòng từ bi, phải không Thầy? Tại vì con cũng có nghe một cái câu chuyện thật á, của cái người này ở Việt Nam. Anh ta làm ăn cướp, ăn trộm, nói chung là cái gì cũng làm hết. Qua bên Thái Lan, ở tù bên đó cũng vượt ngục đủ thứ hết. Nhưng mà có thể là siết cổ bà vợ để mà sắp chết luôn. Nhưng mà sau khi mọi người đều xa lánh anh ta, nhưng mà ở tù vượt ngục xong rồi siết cổ vợ luôn, coi như vợ nói gì cũng không nghe. Nói chung là hung hãn lắm. Nhưng mà có một cái người này, một cái ông già ở cái bên, thì mỗi lần anh ta qua mà than thở gì đó thì ông sẽ nói không sao đâu, con tốt lắm này kia nọ. Rồi từ từ thì ông đã chuyển hóa được cái anh này, và nhờ cái lòng từ bi và sự kiên nhẫn của ông, cho nên anh này đã chuyển hóa, thân tâm của anh quay 180 độ và đã niệm Phật và tu học. Đây là câu chuyện thật ở trong Phật Pháp Nhiệm Màu mà anh đó đã lên nói á Thầy. Là lòng từ bi với kiên nhẫn. Dạ, phải không Thầy? Nam Mô Di Đà Phật. Dạ.
Amitabha Master, so is that the Buddha, when you talk about the Dharma of patience together with the kindness and compassion, is that the Dharma? That is the Dharma that the Buddha is doing? Because I've heard that this is the true story in Vietnam. So there's a guy, he's a thief, and he steals from Vietnam to going to Thailand. And he got in prison and he escaped. And also, whenever his wife talking to him, he almost tied her throat to the point that nobody can speak to him. He doesn't listen to anybody, and he's very gung-ho about it. But however, there is an old man living next door, and every time that this guy was in trouble, he came over and complained to the old man, but then the old man just keep gently tell him that, you're doing good, you're a good person. And it's because of the patience and the compassion of that old man later on is converted this thief 180 degree now that he become Buddhist and he recite the Buddha name. This is the truth story in they call the miracle of the Buddha Dharma. Is that the case, Master?
Yeah, we hear a lot of such stories, not just in Buddhism, but also in Catholicism, in various religions. I read some similar stories in Hinduism as well, where these evil people, these mean people were converted and became docile, and became practiced a good path, and became exemplary people in society. Yeah, it happens that's why that's one of the commonality of all religions. We have the dharmas, various dharmas, to turn people and convert people from evil to good. Okay, in Buddhism we have our own style, where actually we have a wider range, if you will. It's true. It's true that story that she mentioned, I didn't hear of that story myself personally, but it's quite a commonplace in not just Buddhism. It's in a lot of religions that I've read and I heard about. Okay, and so yes, absolutely, it happened in Buddhism as well as many religions. In Buddhism, however, it's from my perspective, we have a lot more tools to work with, okay? And we can solve a wider range of people. We've been talking about, killing and so forth. It's a very difficult thing to do, and evil to go towards good. But, my personal experience that I have many, many friends I know of, even my own Dharma brothers who used to be under Master Hsuan with me, myself, okay? And they went away and they followed the Hinayana masters who donned on Mahayana clothing, and it appealed to them. And I can't reach them. And they practice Master Hsuan's Dharma every day, but their mind is so narrowly focused on the Hinayana results. It's amazing. It's very, very difficult. Okay, and when I first started, the first several years of when I started teaching, because I was told to teach, and so I hung around this guy, and after several years, I gave up. I said, it's going nowhere. Okay, this kind of person, I can't touch him. So I know personally how difficult it is to go from small to big, to large, to great. It's so difficult. Okay? And so what Dharma do we have? So we have tools. So Peter earlier talked about using the Shrangama mantra, and that's part of the tools. Sometimes they're very violent, especially demons and evil people. And so demons and ghosts, so we usually start by taming them, by beating them up, so that they know that we're stronger than they are, and yet we don't hurt them. We could hurt them very badly or kill them even, but we don't. Okay, and for these, especially the ghosts and demons, they need to believe in that, to see that before they take us seriously. So yes, part of the tool is are those Shrangama mantras and so forth, great compassion mantras and all sorts of mantras we have in Buddhism. Okay, but it's only a start. What I'm pointing out to you is there are many, many tools, other tools, such as the great compassion mantra that will not be as hurtful to the demons and the ghosts, but has a way of turning them from evil to good, from small to great. Okay? Or what's another Dharma we have that's been introduced to you already? The point here is that we all have our limitations. So that's why the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas realize that. So they they make a lot of tools available to us to assist us. Okay? So we basically are the conduits for them, okay, to reach these difficult cases. So Medicine Master Buddha Dharma is another example of how you can turn from small to great. Because one of his 12 great vows is that I vow that in the future, anyone who have my blessings, okay, will have a chance to go from small to great. So basically, Medicine Master Buddha takes over using his power, which because we don't have such power, it's very, very difficult. Okay? All right? Next. Celestial King, pure floral light, gain a passage into liberation of, apprehending the causes underlying the joy of all the gods.
净华光天王得了知一切诸天快乐因解脱门。
Okay, so this guy is a show-off. Pure floral light. So he emits this light that looks like flowers. They're so appealing, so attractive, like flowers. People look at his light, okay, which is 24 hours a day that he emits, and people say, wow, it's so nice. I can't think of anything else but his floral light. And not only they are enraptured and captivated by this light show, okay, which is much more interesting than Aurora Borealis. Anyone seen Aurora Borealis? At least I saw it on TV. It's fascinating, isn't it? Just how it changes. Not only are they entranced by this floral light this guy emits, okay, his light looks like flowers, all sorts of wonderful flowers. But when they look at his light, what happens? It has a function of reducing desires, reducing calculating. Hey, wake up. Just I'm talking to you, falling asleep. Huh? How calculating we all are. Look at his light here, and we stop. We become less calculating. Huh? And so that's what pure stands for. Pure means that you think less. You have fewer desires. Okay? So you have your son who's difficult to deal with, he doesn't listen to you, give him a video of pure floral light. And let the celestial king take care of him for you. Okay. And so he got there by comprehending the causes underlying the joy of all gods. Joy here is actually the gods. The point here is the gods. Okay? Kids, are you listening? They're not. Okay, see? See, that's joy for you. They don't listen. Look at them. Look at that. They're so captivated by the videos. So that's joy. And so the nature of the existence of gods is that it is so incredibly joyful, unlike ours. Ours, we go home and we have to listen to our wives. No joy there. Chung would say. Single. Smart guy. And so the joy, the gods are different. Their existence is totally different from us. They have so much joy during the day. We have so much challenges, so many challenges, so much anxiety and worries and stress during the day. When you get to the heavens, it's all joy. And so it's a real attraction for us. Okay? So that's why the non-Buddhists, they're so interested in becoming and going to the heavens, because what they heard is true, is that you go up there, it's so much pleasure. Life is so pleasurable. Okay, so this king here, he's in that environment. What does he do? Okay, how do he become a world ruler? By thoroughly understanding what it takes to be able to have such joys, for celestial beings to have such joys. So he understands what they have to do in order to be born into the heavens and enjoy those pleasures. As a reminder for you mortals, where if you enjoy, for example, drinking, here drinking with the best wine, the best liqueur, the best whatever you have here, alcohol you have here, and non-alcohol for Sienna and Sunim. She disappeared so conveniently. Okay, that is nothing compared to the alcohol in the heavens, if you're interested. And the same goes with food, with music, with designer clothes. Okay? All the joys, even cars, red cars, and so forth. Okay? And so he understands. He says, so what he says, if you want to be born there and live in this palace, heavenly palace, okay? Then I teach you how to do that. This is what you need to do. So he understands. He understands a direct connection between what you need to do and the pleasures you're going to experience when you're born in the heavens. That's how he became a world ruler, because that's what he used to motivate his subjects. And that's teaching, by the way. Okay? You teach people by finding out what they want first. How much they want it. And then you show them a way to get it. You don't do brute force like Peter and say, no, that's wrong. I am beat up on them. You want something else. No, the way they do is they help you get what you want first, and then adjust what you want. Yeah? At first, you want to go second dhyana, and then fifth samadhi, and then first stage arhat, okay? Fourth stage arhat, you see? Once you get the flavor of the joy of cultivation, the results you can achieve for yourself, then you naturally, like all of us, we become greedy. He says, can I have more? And this celestial king says, of course you can. Let me show you how. And that's teaching and transforming. Anthony, what do you think? 6. Because the reason I ask is that the Vietnamese have this habit. When they like something, they shake their legs.
Amitofo. One question I had, this might relate to maybe other days' lectures, is there a difference between taking a loss when you are possessed by a depression ghost or taking a loss when you're just being straightforward? Sometimes I'm not sure when I'm being possessed or not, so I just wanted to know. And some people have reprimanded me for taking losses when I was possessed.
Is there a difference, you mean?
Yes, is there a difference?
It's difficult to make the connection when you say you possessed. I mean, like you jump in the conclusions. You talk like this, people have a hard time connecting with you, especially girls. Don't tell girls you're possessed. Or boys, if they have that kind of preference. Okay? Avoid talking like that is my first advice to you. Okay? Don't tell people I'm possessed. You tell people I possess. Okay? No one possesses me. Do we understand each other? Okay, so you probably are referring to reading between lines, and correct me please. Reading between lines at sometimes you feel depressed, yeah? And then during those times, I'm teaching you how to phrase your question, explain yourself in a more Americanized way, okay? Don't talk like an Asian. No one understands you in this country. Okay? And so you say, sometimes I feel I'm depressed. Don't say I'm depressed, I'm possessed by a depression ghost. You have no proof. You can veer into a different direction. Avoid it, okay? It's not the point. The point is that you want to get is sometimes I feel depressed. For whatever reason I feel depressed. It happens, okay? And then what happens? What about losses?
Sometimes I tell people things that I guess are not appropriate, and then repercussions happen.
Okay, specifics, please. We have a lot of Koreans who don't understand appropriate. and trust me, my translator, they don't get appropriate either. Okay, so be specific. It helps avoid a lot of misunderstanding. So be specific, say, okay, when you press, and then I did this. What is that what you did specifically that caused you trouble?
Okay.
You talk like that, by the way, it's much easier to connect with you. Because what you do when you talk to people, okay, unless you're a professor and your intellect, you want to talk in very abstract terms because you're a superior man, therefore you're supposed to understand. Okay, we mortals, we don't want to think as much as people think. It's much easier in American communications is that you be very clear. When you talk to people, they don't need to process. They understand exactly what you mean instead of having to process and second guess you. Does it help? Okay? That's Asian. Asian are very abstract, like Master Shea's Dharma. 80% is abstract because it's so flowery, it's so beautiful. And you could go in so many directions. That's why it's so profound, so deep. But I scratch my head, what does he mean by that? Okay? And it causes problem not for him, for his disciples. Because they don't get it either. None of it gets it in our generation. Okay, because there's too many options. And it's true. That's what he meant. He meant all those options. Okay? So that he addresses a wider audience. But when you talk to me, I'm not a wide audience. I'm a very limited audience. Okay? Examples. When you're depressed, what did you do that got you in trouble? It's amazing. I've been teaching my students this, right? I mean, that's lesson number 1. When you ask Master questions, be specific. He's been coming to temple for almost 1.5 years now. He still talks like a scholar.
Okay. one time I felt guilty for having a sexual thought to someone. So
Oh no!
to repent to that.
We have PG audience here. I'm kidding. Continue. Hey, too young to understand.
And then I guess I felt a lot of pressure, and I don't know, I repented to that person. And
What?
I got...
The problem is deeper than I thought. Okay, we need to go into private counseling. Lucky for you, Dr. Lang Fang is available. Yeah, you confess to the person who had sexual thoughts of?
Yes, and then I...
What? You don't do that unless it's a very special circumstances when you do that. Cornelia, bad girl. Okay, so and then how is that taking a loss when you confess to someone? I don't get it.
I don't know. I got in trouble afterward.
Okay. And so what's the question?
And then later I talked to a High Sangha, and then he said that he told me to not trust my thoughts. So I was just wondering if what is the correct
Which
way?
thoughts? You see, it's so vague. You have to be very specific. When you say not to trust your thoughts, which thought?
He didn't.
I
He
need
just
to
said,
look at my audience first before I can.
I didn't ask him that question, but he just said, "Don't trust my mind." I didn't press him further.
Which mind? The mind that the original mind, okay, without mentioning what the original mind was exactly, or the mind that admits that you have such a mind. Which one are we talking about? Which mind which mind was he referring to?
I think he was referring to the mind which admits that I have that mind.
Oh, the one that confesses.
Yes, he was referring to that. He says, don't trust my thoughts. So, yeah.
But you trust the original thought?
Yeah, I think he said...
You're enjoying this too much.
He said not to trust that either. I believe he said that before you become a fourth stage arhat, don't trust your mind.
Nonsense. Even a fourth stage arhat still have such thoughts. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You think fourth stage arhat don't have thoughts of liking a girl anymore? Who told you? You read it in the books, right? That's what everyone reads in the book. My fourth stage arhat still like girls. Or like boys. True? Look at the girl, they're laughing. That's my proof. They don't know what they're talking about. And I explain to you, once for all, for you, gullible people. I used to be one of you. Because you read in the scriptures and the books as, you're fourth stage arhat, you're free from desire, you have no outflows. Yeah? Corporate line, that's what the standard teaching is. And then you get there and you heard masters tell you, oh, you're 4A. And then you say, but how come I'm 4A? I still... Ask them. True? Don't nod your head, you idiot. You're supposed, this is when you're supposed... Don't even smile. Okay? And so, let me explain to you once for all. What is he referring to? The exhaustion of outflows, or the lack of desires, you will, okay, is only when they are in that samadhi. You're not always able to be in that samadhi. Because your blessings run out. When your blessings run out, you're supposed to, what's the word? Suffer. You have to face your wife and your girlfriend, and she'll torment you. Yeah? Now they're not laughing anymore, are they? You understand? When we have blessings, we're free from suffering because we can choose to either not let it bother us or not be touched by it. You understand the difference? You're not touched by it by entering samadhi. If you don't enter samadhi, you have enough blessings that it cannot bother you. Okay? That's what it means. It doesn't mean you are like half a man. The girls get it, but the boys, my boys, half a man. Okay? It's nonsense advice. Anyone can help him out? What is he supposed to do? First of all, okay, as I just explained to you, this whole world here, we have desires. We live in a world, the realm of desires. So to have desires is part of our existence. So the Buddha says, you have a choice now. You can develop the skills to suppress it by entering samadhi. That's all. But if you're not in samadhi, we can have desires of this. We want a car, we want more money, we want fame, we want food. That's normal. Nothing to be ashamed of. Okay? You're alive. And what you don't realize is that those desires actually have causes that planted way in the past. And so we are agitated by desire because that's part of our suffering. Don't look at it as fault. Like the Catholics who like to teach you, oh, shame on you, you know. No, it's part of our existence. We are enduring the consequences of our karmas that were created in the past. That's why we have these agitations. In a prior life, let me put it this way for you, was that a girl or a boy? You don't have to answer that. Okay? In the past, I give you a this is the standard explanation in Buddhism. If you have agitation, you're agitated right now, it's because in the past, you agitated her. In the past, you were a girl and she was a boy, and you agitated her. Now, you became a boy and she became a girl, and she agitates you. Now you're even. Does it help? Don't have to feel guilty. In other words, wait, it doesn't sound right. Got that? N'importe quoi. His friend means nonsense. Dr. Fang, do you agree with that? Would you accept him as a patient? Yes, Wei Mao. You have to go to Kaiser if you want to talk to her, by the way. You don't want to talk to non-Kaiser patients. I found out. I said, doctor, can I talk to you? He said, where's your Kaiser membership? Number. Andres, you look so depressed.
I'm just tired.
Tired.
It's suffering's optional, right?
Who told you? Who said so?
I mean, it's natural, but isn't it? It's optional in the mind if I want to get afflicted.
You look at the problem wrong. See, that's a problem with you. You read too much. You study too much. You heard too much. And it's all jumbled up. The premise of your question is wrong. Anyone can help me out here.
So I
what's
have
wrong
to be,
with his approach, with thinking?
So if I afflicted someone in the past, and they afflict me now, I have to be afflicted?
No, that's a wrong premise. I just told you. Don't make me repeat myself for the third time. Anyone can help me out. What's wrong with his approach? If he does this, he will be in trouble forever. And that's not how we fix the problem of suffering. Okay? If you do it that way, chances are that you become more depressed. Go first.
Hello.
Yes, Sina and Sidin. What do you have to say for yourself?
Not me, about him, his question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So I think he's asking a question on the hypothetical basis, not instead of actually what happened to him or how he feels.
No,
Then,
okay.
No?
Don't go there.
Okay.
Next. Anyone? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with his approach? This is so typical of the Buddhist disciples. You take things literally because no one corrected you. And that's why it's so important that you speak your mind and ask questions, because you will realize that doesn't matter how long you've been studying or practicing, your problem may be, your approach may be erroneous, just like a new person, because no one told you. If you don't get the correction right now, because Andres was more interested in other aspects until today. That's why that this is so typical of the Buddhist student, these Buddhist disciples. Yes, go for it. What's wrong with this approach?
Thưa Thầy, có phải là mình phải nhìn lại tại sao mình có cái lỗi đó không? Thay vì là mình nói là tại người ta, cho nên là bây giờ mình afflicted cho người ta hại mình.
Amitabha Master, is that because that we have to look at why we have make that kind of mistake, instead of looking at other people, saying that why does these people, why am I get afflicted because other people harming us?
I don't want you to think I can be bought or influenced with money. Just because you help me fix the windows of my car? No. Next. What's wrong? Did you want to say something, Seven? Okay, go ahead, Seven.
Amitabha Master, I hope I get Andrea's question right. I think he was trying to say suffering is optional. There's a saying in Buddhism, 人苦了苦. So if he want to pick and choose for suffering, that will bring him an attitude to avoid to suffer. Then basically he will not be able to, trying to find the right word. But he has to be able to face and take care of it rather than trying to hide or and stay away from the suffering. That will not solve the problem. Thank you.
Very good. That's 95% of it. Yes. Number 6.
So like I'm just thinking about one of the paramitas is patience. If you're not suffering, then you can't practice patience.
That's right. That's the remaining 5%. Excellent. You see how much wisdom you all have. Okay? Yes, in a Saha world, we come here and our existence is full of suffering. Ordinary people, when they suffer, they panic, they complain, okay? And they run away. And that's what they say. See, the Buddha said, it's suffering, therefore, I'm suffering, here I go again. And instead, in Buddhism, when we tell you about suffering, okay, your challenge is because if you are willing to look at your problem, there's a solution. Okay? And so Andre's problem, he look at suffering as, he says, I don't want to suffer. And that's a wrong premise already. Suffering is the nature of our existence. We suffer, if we don't suffer from this, we suffer from that. Okay? And so ordinary people, they allow suffering to overwhelm them. Whereas we practice Buddhism, we get trained not to let suffering overwhelm us, confuse us. Yes, our existence is that of suffering. All sorts of suffering, countless forms of suffering. There's no way to avoid them. So that's why it's often in Buddhism, people who like to read about Buddhist books and learn about the theory, they are impressed by the fact that they can rise above suffering, but actually it's not the goal of Buddhism. We talk about helping people end the suffering and attain bliss because they're weak. If you're strong, we teach you embrace suffering so that you can help others end their sufferings, folks. Not your suffering. You only want to help others end their suffering. You don't want to end your own suffering if you're a real man. Does it make sense to you? That's who we are. We're not afraid of suffering. Yes, we're suffering. And we know we're suffering. We know we stick our head into more suffering. We still do it because it makes us stronger and better so that they can end their suffering. But we don't have to end our suffering. Andres, do you get it? I want you to be tougher, my boy.
Well, I think you kind of said what I was trying to say too. Life full of challenges, but it's optional to, like you said, most people will run away and freak out and get scared. I'm more talking about the response to what you were calling suffering and what I was calling challenges. Because right now it's, I'm sitting and it's painful, but I consider it more like fun to face the challenge and try to get better than suffering.
There you go. That's the right attitude. It's supposed to be difficult. Only wimps prefer it easy. We don't want it easy.
But that being said, so the suffering part is optional because it doesn't have to be a negative experience. It can be a positive experience.
Well, we cheat if you want to say it, right? Sometimes we cheat. You say, this is enough suffering for today.
But it's fun. It's fun to. I guess it's fun to suffer. So
Absolutely. We all have limits. We all have limits. They say, okay, that's enough for today. That's it. I'm going to go have a beer.
Well, it's not suffering if it's fun.
No, the pure Buddhist says having a beer is suffering.
Yeah, having a beer. Quitting is suffering. I think quitting is more suffering than...
But we're so strong that we choose to suffer. Having a beer, suffer more. Non-alcoholic beer. I don't want Sian Sunim to get the wrong idea.
That's what Anthony did.
She's so excited. You show her, if you...
That's what Anthony did when he took the loss. He chose to suffer more. We should applaud him for that.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so the point here, Master Hsuan Hua is teaching us this is a fundamental foundation of Mahayana here, okay, that you need this basic knowledge. If you want to have pleasures and have pleasurable experiences, you should behave like the gods, because that's how they got up there. They got up there, became a god, because they are entitled to experience pleasurable things. They don't have to suffer. And how they got there? By cultivating the 5 precepts and the 10 good deeds. That is fundamental, folks. There's no other way to slice it. Okay? The non-Buddhist approaches, they talk about a lot of things, but it all falls within this category of keeping 5 precepts and doing 10 good deeds. You do that, you will have heavenly pleasures. It's not just wait until you die, it's down here as well. Maybe not the same kind of intensity, okay, and frequency, but we can get started right down here. Don't have to wait until you become a god. Am I making sense to you? The Buddhist teaching is not that rigid, by the way. What he's talking about here in Master Hsuan Hua on this slide 667 here is that, heavenly blessing they got because up there because of the 5 precepts and the 10 good deeds. I'm elaborating for you that it starts right now. You start with the 5 precepts and 10 good deeds, you are beginning to experience heavenly blessings right now, sooner than you think. That's liberation, folks. Don't think that you're suffering too much. Life is all suffering here. It doesn't have to be. Does it help, Andres? It's not optional. It's a choice. Celestial King, eyes of wisdom's sun, gain a passage into liberation of, revealing to all gods the good roots by which they attain rebirth, freeing them from delusion.
至日眼天王得开示一切诸天子，受生善根，彼无痴惑解脱门。
This guy's eyes must be very, very bright as the sun, but the eyes of great wisdom. And so, according to Master Hsuan Hua here, he says that this celestial king here, he got his job by developing the skills and the expertise of revealing to all gods the good roots by which they attain rebirth. Okay, so he made a direct connection between how his subjects who were born into the second desire heaven, okay? And he pinpointed for them the causes for their rebirth of that heaven. That's precision for you. That's Buddhist precision without instruments. Isn't that cool? In a liberating for you to see that if I want to be this way, this is what I have to do exactly. You got here because that's what you did. Okay, next. Celestial King, effortless light, gain a passage into liberation of, enlightening all the celestial multitudes, forever severing their myriad doubts.
自在光明天王，得开悟一切诸天众，令永断种种疑解脱门。
671, effortless light. What does it tell you? Why is he known as effortless light, you think? This is a name given to him by his peers and his superiors. Yeah? Usually his superiors. And then adopted by his peers. So, as a person high level, and look at him and say, oh, he's kind of effortless light, isn't he? So why is he known as effortless light? Deji Suni. Why? It's not something Koreans understand. That's why I asked you. She said, then why do you ask me? Because you're Korean. I want to make my point. Effortless light. What does it mean?
예, 잘 모르겠습니다. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, very good. I need to learn that Korean expression. I don't know. And this is all the Sunims teach each other. They said, if Master asks you a question, I don't know. He will leave you alone. Oh. Yes, 3.
So, Master, isn't we usually translate the 自在 into self-mastery?
Self-mastery, effortless, same concept.
Is that because he doesn't have to think?
Doesn't have to think? Okay. Let me explain to you. Okay. Throughout Buddhism, in particular the Avatamsaka Sutra, when you see light, what does it tell you? Wisdom. When you have wisdom, all the people who have wisdom, they emit light. Master Shino emits so much light, but he won't let you see it. He has so much wisdom. Okay? But naturally, you cannot see his, but his bosses can see his. Got that? That's why they look at him and say, oh, you effortless light. Because when he uses wisdom to help living beings, it's no effort. You guys think too much. You try too hard. Okay? And you're so worried about being judged that others would like you and not like you. You're worried about that. You're worried about being approved, being accepted. That's why you live in this constant tension. Do they like it? Will they approve me? Huh? What are they thinking of me? And that's not effortless. That's not self-mastery. And that's slavery. So it's only because your wisdom is not high enough to be experiencing self-mastery. You still allow others to affect you. Got that? So you can see, he may be only a celestial king of the second desire heaven, but he's a bodhisattva in disguise. He has self-mastery. You can't touch him. Doesn't matter what you do to him, you can't touch him. Okay? Okay. So, after he got his job, he goes around and emits his light of wisdom and make people feel comfortable, at ease around him. And so rubs off them. They go near him and say, I can relax now. He won't judge me. He's a big shot, but he won't judge me. He can accept me as who I am. He gives you that kind of gift. Got that? Okay. It's too abstract. Okay, never mind. Okay. So this is very important point. I stop here today. That's enough. I'm tired. Too much good food today. That serves you right. You give me too much good food, I don't feel like talking too much. I'm warning you. When I get fat, I don't want to talk. I need time to digest. Okay? Now, what he's talking about here is very, very important. It's often ignored in Buddhism because they all talk about kindness, compassion, and getting what you want and all those things, but they don't talk about doubt. One of the most damaging things that you can do to yourself is to have doubts. That's what happens in particular to worldly people. They live in doubt. Whatever you tell them, they say, I don't believe you. They don't say it out, but in their heart, they say, I don't believe you. I don't know. Yeah? Agree or disagree? I have my favorite disciple right there who agrees with everything I say today. It's only two of us, two of a kind. The rest of you are losers. Doubts. Okay? Because we are scammed so often online. Our wives mislead us when they buy a set of washer and dryers and hide those purchases somewhere, the credit cards and so forth. It's confusing to us. Okay, so the world is rampant with doubt and no one talks about it, but no one believes anyone else. So when you meet, if this is how you live, when you meet a good no advisor, and like Master Shinhua who says, who teaches you, he said, are you for real? So Master Shinhua has to say, don't you know how powerful I am? I can heal your cancer. I can heal. I can send your mother to the Pure Land. I can turn your son to someone smart. If that interests you, they don't become zombie watching videos and games. Look at them and losing track of life and time. Look at them, totally absorbed. Stupid state. They do listen, you know that? They actually listen with half an ear. And that's good enough. It sinks into your consciousness and you have a half of a seat there. And so we live in a world of doubt, and that's a big problem for you, for living beings, because when they meet with a great teacher like Master Shenhua, we all had doubts. We all doubted him. We doubted his intentions. We doubted what he taught. Okay? We doubt everything in life. There's no way to live, folks. No way. To the point where we doubt everyone. Ask your wife. She doubts everyone. I look at her, I say, you believe no one. That's why, I don't talk to her. It's too obvious to her. One look at her and why you have so much doubt? Seriously. Why do you have to doubt, I ask you? Instead, what I'm proposing to you is hold off on your doubt. Wait until they open their mouth first. Then you doubt. But don't come with people with doubt loaded into your app already. Everything goes through the doubt app with you. I don't believe you. You open your, I don't believe you. Honey, I just came to visit my mom. I don't believe you. What are we supposed to do? There's no way to live, folks. Don't doubt. There's no need to doubt. Okay? Severing forever the myriad doubts. Because doubtness one. You doubt the myriad, you have myriads of doubts. He severs them up. Speaking of public service, isn't that wonderful? No one appreciates him. He severs your doubt. What happened to me today? I feel lighter today. I no longer doubt my husband, my boyfriend. But you say, I don't know why. I just feel lighter. I feel more energy. Because it takes so much energy to nurture your doubt. You're sickly. She becomes sickly because of her doubts. Skin problem because of the doubt. No energy because of the doubt. He doubts everyone, everything. It's amazing. And that's considered to be smart. And they even train their daughters. They say, don't believe the boys. Okay, folks? So that's what he does for public service. Isn't that cool? Who says he has to give you food? He has to give you a job. He saves your life, improves your quality of life by helping you sever your myriads types of doubts in your heart. And that's what bodhisattvas do. They help you, and you don't appreciate how much they're helping you. Thank you, everyone. We stop here today.